the Moore family. Donald and I met during a Disney college internship back in 2011. Shortly after, we were engaged in front of the train station at Magic Kingdom and had a Disney fairy tale wedding. It wasn't too long before we had two Mouseketeers of our own, Ella and Finn, and now we spend our time adventuring at all the Disney destinations, and we share our adventures with you. Excited once again to chat with you guys. Tonight we are going to be breaking down the Disney resort hotels and the different categories that they offer, and a couple of different things about staying on property and off property and all of that fun jazz. Let me just get my tripod fixed here. I just got my kids in bed. I literally gave them a bath, threw them in the bed, and ran down here. I put my glasses on because I didn't feel like putting makeup on. I did put a little bit of lips on though. I feel like you can't really go on camera if you don't have some sort of something happening to distract from the fact that you're not wearing full makeup. Okay, hello everyone. How are you doing? My name is Shelby Moore. I am the mom of the Mouse and More crew. We have a blog, YouTube channel. We run this group, and we also have Instagram. If you are not already following us on Instagram, you need to be. You can find us at mouse.and.more on Instagram. That's where we typically spend most of our time sharing just our daily things that we do, and a lot of Disney tips there as well. And then this Disney group, this is our community. This is where we can chat with a lot of our clients, our past clients, our current clients, things like that, friends, people that just want to hang out and visit in the group and chat about Disney things. That's what this group is here for. But if you want to hang out with us and see what we're up to, you can see all of that on our Instagram page. So yes, like I said, my name is Shelby Moore. I am a travel agent. I've been a travel agent for about almost 9 years. We run the Jolly Holiday Travel Company, and we have a team of amazing adventure planners. And if you guys are planning some form of Disney, it could be Disney vacation or a family vacation, a honeymoon, a romantic getaway, whatever it is that you were thinking about traveling to in the future, consider working with one of our adventure planners. Their services are completely free to you. The supplier pays them to help you plan. So like Disney, if you're booking a Disney vacation, Disney is paying our adventure planners to help you plan a magical vacation, making tons of memories. So I will drop that link to the agency in the comments as soon as I am done with this video. So today, I'm so excited to chat with you guys about breaking down the Disney resort hotels. So we're going to specifically talk about Disney World today. Most of our videos are a little bit more focused on Disney World. We will have some Disneyland and Disney Cruise Line things in the future, but Disney World is what we're going to be focusing on right now. And so we're breaking down the resorts, perks of staying on and off property, the different categories, and just some basic things that you need to know. So one of the number one questions that we get from Disney newbies, people who haven't been very much, is it worth to stay on property or should you stay off property? So we're just going to kind of break down really fast what are some basic perks of each one. So on property, from the moment that you land at the Orlando Airport, you are going to immediately be wrapped into a Disney bubble. So you're going to get on the Disney's Magical Express, and it is going to be playing you Disney-themed shows and quizzes and things, getting you to your resort. You get off, you're immediately in the Disney bubble at your resort. There's theming and just all types of Disney magic there at your resort hotel. And then there's free transportation from the resort to your park of choice, or to Disney Springs or the theme parks or whatever it is. So anything within the Disney bubble, you have free transportation to if you were staying on property. I will point this out, they did used to offer free parking at the resorts. They no longer offer free parking at the resorts. However, if you are staying at a resort and you're paying for parking at that resort, you do get free access into the theme parks if you have your own car, whether you're renting a car or you're traveling by yourself. You will have access into the parks. You just won't have free parking at the resorts. That is a recent change. I believe it changed last year in 2018. So I know that was kind of like a complaint for some people. But another thing to point out about being on property is extra magic hours. So what this means is that Disney will choose a resort. Disney will choose a park. They alternate parks throughout the week, whether they open 2 hours early or they stay open 2 hours late. But the only people that have access to participating in the rides and the activities during that time are people who have a magic band and are staying at a resort that is on property. So that would give you access to extra magic hours in the morning, or if you want to stay late. Now, obviously, whenever you do choose the time to stay late, there will be people there that are not part of a resort on property that will be staying, but they aren't given access to the rides, so you'll be only waiting in line with the people that are there from the resort. So that's a big perk. A lot of people like to use it. I specifically love the morning times because that gets us into the park a little bit earlier since we have younger kids, and we're able to take advantage of a little bit more of a park time before it's time for a nap. So I love extra magic hours for that purpose. And then just like I've mentioned multiple times, honestly, to get a full, true Disney experience, it's staying on property, being in that Disney bubble, you know, getting shuttled directly to your resort, being at the resort. There's movies by the pool, there's games happening at resorts, there's pin trading. At some of the resorts, they'll have activities happening in the lobby, whether there be someone teaching you how to draw characters, or just like Disney themed food. You have the Disney gift shops. I mean, there's just so much extra magic that's kind of wrapped into staying on property. A lot of people will actually stay on property and not always go to the parks every single day, because staying at a Disney resort is an experience in and of itself. It's not like any other hotel. Now, there are some perks to staying off property, so don't think that I'm like completely biased to being on property, but off property there are a few perks. I had to write a bunch of stuff down because I talk really fast and then I forget what I'm talking about. Okay, duh, I'm reading this like, yes, Shelby, you already know all these things. Okay, so off property, one of the major perks of people staying off property is you get a little bit more bang for your buck. So the same amount of money that you're going to be spending on a on-property resort, you can take that money and probably get a little bit more for what you're spending. So let's say you have a family of 5 or 6, and instead of cramming yourselves into one standard room, you could probably take that same amount of money, stay at a property that's off-site, and get a room that is maybe bigger. They have some hotels that are really close to property that have a suite with a little kitchenette. There's a living room with a pull-out and a double beds in the bedroom area and a full bath. And those tend to fit families that are a little bit more than 4 people, and it just gives you a little bit more room, especially if you're going to be staying for a whole week. Sometimes you just want a little bit of extra space. So if you don't have the budget to upgrade to a bigger room on Disney property, then maybe it might be worth you looking into your budget and seeing if it's worth you staying off property where you can spend the same amount of money but get a little bit of a bigger upgrade. Another thing about staying off property is you're going to get those amenities that a traditional hotel offers, like continental breakfast, breakfast included. They have good neighbor hotels, Disney does. So let me explain what this means. Okay, so a good neighbor hotel means that this is a hotel that is off property, but it has been authorized by Disney. So Disney has come in and they've done like a survey of this property, and they also have customer service people stationed there to assist you with tickets and theme park things, and they can answer a lot of Disney questions, but they are not ran by Disney. They're just like kind of monitored by them. So these people can still kind of give you a little bit of that customer service feel that Disney offers, but you can get it at an off-site price. Another thing to point out is that if this is your either first time at Disney, or maybe you are not a full head-on like obsessed Disney lover and you may need like have a little sensory overload with all the Disneyness that's happening, staying off property may be a good choice for you. This will give you an opportunity to truly leave all of the Disney behind for a minute, go back to your resort. You can go to dinner somewhere off property. There are other entertainment things happening. There's Universal Studios, there is SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Legoland. There's a ton of things in downtown Orlando for you to see and visit. So if you are looking for a little bit more of an experience that doesn't just include Disney, then staying off property might be a good option for you. There's also the NASA, I'm going to butcher this of what I'm trying to say, the NASA thingy that's in Port Canaveral where the rockets will take off. That's there too. I know it has an official name and it's like totally blanking me, but the NASA thing that where, you know, the spaceships take off, that's over near the Port Canaveral area that is close to Orlando as well. And so a lot of families like to go visit that and they'll go to Cocoa Beach. So there's so many things to do in that area that's not just Disney. So if you're looking to have an experience that's not all about, yes, Janelle, thank you, sister. Yes, the Kennedy Space Center. Thank you. That's what it is. So if you're looking to have a vacation that doesn't only include Disney, then staying off property may be an amazing option for you because not only do you get a little bit more space and a little bit more bang for your buck, but you can also have a lot more experiences without just being on property. Okay, I think that was everything about on property versus off property. A few things that I do want to cover though is that they have the Good Neighbor hotels, which are all off property. Now there are hotels that are on property that are not owned by Disney. A couple examples of these are the Swan Hotel and the Dolphin Hotel. These are owned by Marriott. So if you are a Marriott member and you have points that you want to spend, you can actually book the Swan and Dolphin with your Marriott points and be able to be right there on property. It's walking distance to Epcot, walking distance to Hollywood Studios. You're right there on the boardwalk. This is a great option. I have a lot of clients that are Marriott members. I used to work for Marriott, so I know that this is a big thing for people to want to use their points on. That's also another perk that I didn't mention about being off property is that if you are a frequent traveler or if someone in your family is a frequent traveler and they have points to certain places, that you would be able to utilize those points by staying off property, and you don't really get to do that on property unless you do the Swan and the Dolphin. They also have the Four Seasons on property, the Waldorf Astoria, and there's another Bonnet Creek one. Those are all on property. They are not ran by Disney. However, several of them do get extra magic hour perks because Disney is experiencing things are selling out. There's big crowds coming. They just opened Toy Story Land. They are getting ready to open Star Wars Galaxy Edge at the end of August, and they'll open up the additional ride for that in December. So over the next 6 months to a year, not only is Disney crowded in general, but it's going to be even more crowded because people are really trying to come in for all of these big things. They are also gearing up for more attractions to open in 2021, as well as the new Star Wars fully immersive hotel that I believe is set for 2021 as well. So there's just a lot of things happening, and so they're not able to fully accommodate all of the guests that are wanting to come in and stay on property. So for those hotels that are either a Good Neighbor hotel or that are on property but not owned by Disney, Disney is offering them certain perks for staying at those hotels because they just don't have room for everyone. So they are, you know, having to make it a little bit more inclusive. Okay, so let's break down the different types of Disney on-property resorts. So they have over 25 plus resorts on property. It can be a little overwhelming whenever you're trying to sort through it. So what I recommend you typically do is honestly start with your budget. If you really don't know how much money you want to spend, then maybe experiment a little bit with, you know, whether you're talking to an agent and you're getting some quotes or whether you are just kind of playing around online, kind of experiment with what price point you feel comfortable with, plus what amenities come with that price point and what you feel comfortable with. but let's kind of go through what the different levels are. So value resorts, so those hotels typically are going to range from like $100 to $200. You have times in the year where they could be less, you have times in the year where they could be more, but the value resorts are All-Star Movies, All-Star Sports, All-Star Music, Pop Century. Now they do count Art of Animation, it's the newest one, as a value resort. Their Little Mermaid rooms are standard rooms similar to the other value resorts. So those are at value pricing. Typically around $180 is what I have been seeing those rooms go for. However, the family suites that Art of Animation is mostly known for are around $350 and up. So that's more like a moderate price range, which we'll dive into that in a second. So Art of Animation is kind of like in the middle. They're kind of in their own category. But value resorts are known for their like oversized theming, bright colors, crazy big statues, big pools that have some stuff going on. There's always some kind of like fun, loud music playing. There's games happening at the pools. It's a very interactive. It's much more, I would say, kid-friendly compared to many of the other resorts. They're all kid-friendly, but this is really going to be like, they're seeing characters that are, 200 feet tall. And so, for example, in November, we are going and we're going to stay at All-Star Movies, and we're going to be staying in the Toy Story themed section. So whenever you walk in, there's a big giant door. So it's like you walk into Andy's room. There's a giant Buzz and a giant Woody. There's Rex and Bo Peep. The kids can sit and play in the RC, which is like the little remote control car. Guys, if you don't know what that is, you need to go watch Toy Story. So there's like a Dalmatian section at the sports. They have a full size like fields that you can go and play on that have characters there. Art of Animation has some great play areas. There's like a Lion King playground, Little Mermaid statues all over the place. The Cars Land section is so cool. The theming is just so much fun. Now, the downside to staying in a value resort was that the rooms were kind of gross and they were really outdated, but they actually just renovated over the past year and a half pretty much all of the value resort hotel rooms. So where there used to be carpet and yellowed walls and super dated, it is now the laminate flooring, so it looks like hardwood floors. Instead of having a double bed, they all have 2 queen beds. There are a few, obviously, rooms that will have king beds, but most of them are double queen beds. And a really cool thing that they have done now is that one of the queen beds can actually fold up into the wall so that you have more space if you need to, and then you can pull the queen bed out of the wall later if you would like. But the theming in all of the value resorts are much more contemporary. There's like some pop art of Mickey in there. Everything's very clean and minimalistic with like pops of like bright colors. It's really great. I feel a lot better about spending my money to stay there. But more than I did before, because before it was definitely dated and dingy and you felt like you were more at like a motel than a resort. But now that it's been updated, it is so much nicer, and we truly love staying at the value resorts. To be honest, as much as we envy and love all of the deluxe resort hotels, we really love staying at the value resorts because they're just so much fun. The theming is fantastic. The food courts are really cool. So it's just something that you can definitely make it fit within your budget, but also it's really fun to stay at. So we're really excited about that. Okay, the next section is your moderate resort section. So moderate is going to be, you're kind of getting like the best of both worlds. So you're getting a little bit of an upgrade. So the rooms are going to be a little bit bigger. And the resort itself is bigger, and some of the amenities that it offer may be upgraded. So like your linens may be a little bit more luxury, and like the amenities that they offer in the rooms. And instead of having a food court, they're going to have restaurants that are actually there with maybe 1 or 2 quick service options. Moderate resort hotels are Port Orleans, French Quarter, Port Orleans, Riverside, Coronado Springs, Caribbean Beach. And then, I feel like I'm forgetting one. And then Wilderness, the Fort Wilderness cabins fall within the moderate category, but they're not truly a moderate hotel. The Fort Wilderness cabins are truly a cabin out in like the Fort Wilderness area has like a ranch, and there's horses and there's a pool. You can rent golf carts. There's like a canteen. People can actually camp with their tents. You can take your RV, or you can rent these little like log cabin looking things. And that falls within the moderate category, but it is not a true like resort hotel. Moderate is really popular for those who kind of want to get a little bit more bang for the buck, but kind of want to stick closer to value pricing. So like Caribbean Beach Resort, the pricing is very similar to value. It typically runs within the $200 price range, and it is currently getting a renovation. They've been working on it for a while. They're renovating the food area. And some of the rooms have gotten renovated to where they have a fifth sleeper. So you have 2 beds, and then you have a pull down sleeper option. So if you have 5 people in a family, you can fit in those rooms. Most standard rooms only hold 4 people. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking to book something. If you need to hold a 5th person, you're going to have to either move to a moderate resort that holds a 5th person, or move to a family suite. Okay, so a few things that I want to point out about moderate resorts, though, is that the resorts are massive. They're so big. They have sections. So you have the main lobby area buildings that will typically hold the food in the lobby. At Caribbean Beach, they have the food section and the lobby building are completely separate. Typically, there are multiple pools and activity areas. There may be a playground or 2 spread out, but they're really big. I mean, we're talking like 20 to 30 plus buildings that make up the resort. So what happens is that they have a bus stop within every section. So they'll have the bus stop at the lobby, and then the buses will stop at each section, and each section has a name. And this is for Caribbean Beach, Coronado, Port Orleans, and French Quarter. So they're going to stop at all of those things. So that can be a downside to staying at a moderate resort. If you're going to be using on-property transportation, whenever you're staying in a moderate resort, it may take you a little bit longer to get there, and it may take you a little bit longer to get home, because you're going to be jumping between all the different kind of sections within the resort. Also for food, depending on what section you're in, you may have quite a distance to walk. Whenever we have stayed in Coronado Resort before, there's a big lake in the middle. So you have the lobby and the food court, you have a big lake, and then you have some of the sections. So you have to like cross this massive bridge to get there. And it's not that big of a deal. I don't mind it. But if you have children, I could see this being a big issue. We did it prior to having children, so it wasn't that big of a deal. We just kind of complained a little bit about if we wanted a drink or wanted a late night snack or whatever, you have to literally walk over the bridge and to get there. Same thing for Caribbean Beach. They also have a lake that separates some of the buildings, so you would have to cross over a bridge to get there. Now, the pools are a little bit bigger. Pretty much the moderate resorts do offer like more interactive play. There's typically bigger playgrounds, bigger slides. They typically will have like a kids water area. At Caribbean Beach, the water area there is really cool. At Port Orleans and French Quarter and Riverside, they have you can do carriage rides and fishing. You can get beignets there. They have some really good restaurants at the moderate resorts. So there are some perks, but you also have to consider the size of the resort, and if you are taking Disney transportation, if you have younger children, you need to keep in mind that every time you get on and off a bus, you have to break down the strollers. So those are always things to consider. So I just like to throw that out there. If you are, honestly, for my family, now that we have children, we will either do a value resort or we will skip straight to deluxe. That is not, now most of my clients and most of our agents' clients, they honestly love the moderate resorts. I have families that stay at Caribbean Beach every single year. We have families that have only ever stayed at the Port Orleans French Quarter. So I'm just giving you my personal opinion that I have 2 toddlers that are 2 and 1. And if it was up to me, we would either do a value resort or we would do deluxe. I would skip completely over the moderate sections. Okay. Moving on to the next thing. So then that leads us to the next category is deluxe. So deluxe is going to be obviously like your luxury level option. So these are like the monorail resorts. So the Contemporary Resort, Polynesian Resort, and the Grand Floridian Resort, they all have the monorail that run through them and they connect to the Magic Kingdom. And these are deluxe resorts. Their pricing is typically $400 and up, with $400 being like the bare minimum. Really hard to find that price. 90% of the time it's like $600 and up. So it can definitely be a little bit, you need a little bit of a bigger budget to be able to stay in those. They also have Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge, the Boardwalk, Beach Club, Yacht Club. I think that's Old Key West, Saratoga, which a lot of these also balance between being a deluxe as well as a villa resort, which is just like Disney Vacation Club. If you have a bigger party, or if you're looking to have more of a condo style room where you have like a full kitchen and bedrooms and a full bath and things like that, you want to be in the villas, which are also at the deluxe resorts. Those are just a different name for the rooms. At the Polynesian and the Wilderness Lodge, they offer like full bungalows and cabins where it's almost like you were in your complete own little home. So those are great options as well. Now, all of those, like the villas, those typically will book up 11 months in advance. As soon as it opens, people start booking those because Disney Vacation Club members can reserve those rooms, as well as regular guests can reserve those rooms. So they do book up quickly. And they're also pretty expensive. Whenever you're looking at a villa, you're looking at least $900 a night and up to be in a villa option. Now, going back to the deluxe resorts, so the rooms are going to be bigger. Obviously, you're getting queen size beds and king size beds. The amenities there are just on a higher level. All of the restaurants are typically a little bit more on a fine dining level. For example, we always go to the Contemporary Resort and we love to eat at the California Grill that is at the very top of the resort. There's windows all the way around. Our wedding reception was actually there. It's beautiful. You can see the fireworks at night. During the day, you can see the whole property. It's gorgeous. At the Grand Floridian, some of the top restaurants are there. One of our favorite character dining experiences is at the Grand Floridian, but they also have Victoria and Albert's, which is like a 5-star restaurant. You literally are there for hours because it's like 10 courses. We love going to Animal Kingdom and doing the Boma buffet. That's the breakfast. So everything's just on a higher level. You have more of a concierge feel at these deluxe resorts. So you have people that are walking around the pools asking you if you need anything. There is typically some type of Disney theming, but it's on a much more like luxury chic level. So we love the deluxe resorts. One of the things that we love the most about it is the location. So Contemporary, Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian are all on a monorail system. So we have direct access to the Magic Kingdom anytime that we want to, which is a dream because that's our favorite park, obviously. And so we would love to be there all the time. We also really love the idea of staying at the Boardwalk because the Boardwalk is a really cool entertainment center. They have Jelly Rolls, which is a dueling piano bar. You have the Atlantic Dance Hall, which is a fun little dance place. But you're also right there within walking distance of Epcot, and then you have Hollywood Studios behind you. You also have Beach Club and Yacht Club, which again are connected right there. You can rent pontoon boats and fishing boats, and at Beach Club, the pools there have sand in it. It's like you're truly at a beach. There's a big pirate ship slide. I mean, it's just so cool. The experience that you have there and the level of theming that they have is just very cool. It's on a different level. So a deluxe resort is truly an experience in itself. If you're going to pay the money to stay in a deluxe resort, I highly recommend you mapping out some time in your itinerary to have a resort day, if not two. Because there's so much to do at these deluxe resorts and they're so beautiful and you're spending so much to stay there that it's really worth you getting the opportunity to take advantage of everything that it has to offer and all of the amenities that you can find to do there. So if you are going to do a deluxe resort, make sure you are staying for a longer amount of time, or you're only visiting the parks for a certain amount of days and you are taking the time to truly enjoy your room. Now, if you don't plan to be in your room at all and you are just planning to be at the park from rope drop to fireworks and only use your room to sleep, then I highly suggest you just stick to the value resorts. If you're looking for something that's at a value pricing but you want a little bit more of an experience, maybe check out Port Orleans. Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter, they're the moderate resorts that I was talking about, but they do have a little bit more of a fully immersive experience. You truly feel like you are in New Orleans with the way that everything is themed, and the pools are really cool, but they have the horse and carriage rides and the fishing. You can get a boat straight to Disney Springs. If I were to choose a moderate resort, I would choose either Port Orleans, French Quarter, or Riverside is what I would suggest. Okay. I think that's everything, guys. Let me see. I feel like I had some questions pop up. I'd rather spend my money in the parks. Yes, absolutely. We feel the same way. As of right now, I feel like as our kids get older, we're definitely going to want to move maybe a little bit closer to the deluxe side of things. But right now, like, they are little terrorists and they just destroy everything. So, like, what is the point of taking them to, like, a luxury level hotel, right? So we just stay to value, let them enjoy those fun characters and the splash pads and the pools. And I'm really excited. Ella and Finn are really into they're really into Toy Story right now. Like, they are obsessed with it. Those are the movies I can turn that on and get like an hour of freedom at home. So I'm really excited to take them to stay at the Toy Story themed section at the All-Star Movies. I think they're gonna love it. Do the cabins have AC? Yes, the cabins have AC. They also have a full kitchen. There's a stove and a microwave and a refrigerator. There is there's a couch that pulls out into a bed. There's bunk beds in there. There's I think it's a double with a bunk bed, and then you have a pull-out couch. Then you have the big TV. And then there's the refrigerator, the stove, the microwave. You have like a little deck section. You can rent a golf cart. They have like a cute little canteen. They have their own pool. It's really, really cool. The cabins are really cool. It truly looks like a cabin. They obviously aren't actual cabins. I think they were probably just like camper trailers that they like covered to make it look like a cabin, but they look really cool. That would be one of those, you're looking for a different experience than just Disney. You're going to do the parks, but you also are looking for maybe having a camping experience. You can do horseback riding and archery, and there is, you can do Mickey's barbecue. Like, there's a lot of really cool things that you can do that aren't just the parks. So that would be something that if you are thinking about doing a cabin, that is where you want to map that out in your itinerary, where, like, let's say you're going to stay 7 to 8 days, and only 4 of those days you're going to do the parks, and the rest of the days you're going to take advantage of your resort. So that's what I would do. Let's see here. Value it is. Yes, absolutely. So they do campfires at the cabins. Yes, you can. I think that's in designated areas. They have the little grills there, like the little like pop-up, the little camping grills. But I'm pretty sure that the campfires itself are in designated areas for obvious reasons. But yes, they do very fun stuff there. I follow someone on Instagram, and they were just staying there recently, and there was like a cute little situation with like a banjo playing around a campfire, and they were all doing s'mores, and it was just kind of like a surprise thing. They do offer that at the Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, which is a thing that you have to book. It's like a dining experience, and they do s'mores, and Chip and Dale is there and all that fun stuff. But I had someone visit recently that I know, and they had like a magical moment where the cast members came and they did like a fun fire for all the kids that were staying in the area, and they got to do s'mores, and it was just a really cool, it definitely made me want to stay there. I don't think that my family would want to stay there, but I'm one of those people, like, I like to try all the different things. My husband would be over it. My husband hates the Caribbean Beach Resort, hates it, will never stay there again. I didn't mind it, but he hates it. So it's just kind of funny because sometimes we have to find things that work for everybody. But yes, it does sound so much fun. As long as we can do s'mores, yes. I'm a big s'more person. I'm all about it. So I feel you on that one. Okay, guys. Do you have any other questions regarding resorts at Walt Disney World? and on property, off property, anything like that. If you are watching this and it is the replay and you do have a question, just comment below. I will circle back and make sure to answer them. This video will stay here in Facebook land, and I will also be downloading it and uploading it to our YouTube channel, which you can find us at Mouse and More on YouTube, as well as on Instagram. And guys, if you are thinking about planning a Disney vacation and you have not already booked, please check out my amazing adventure planners at Jolly Holiday Travel Company. I will post that link here in the description of this video so you can check them out. They are all wonderful. My husband and I used to work at Walt Disney World. Several of our agents used to work at Walt Disney World. And if they didn't used to work at Walt Disney World, they are specialists to help you. They have taken the College of Disney Knowledge class, and they have been there many, many times. And they're ready to share their knowledge with you. Our services are 100% free to you. Disney pays them/us to help you plan all your magical vacations. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys on Monday with our next Disney live session.